What's up, YouTube? This is Tsuchikage here. So, the Epic 7th 6th anniversary is now in full swing, and I felt that it would be very advantageous for everyone that is involved if we were able to provide individuals with a tier list. Now, this tier list is going to go over, if you read the actual description of the video, story summoning. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, just a quick preference so no one thinks that I'm talking out of my ass here, and just to give myself some form of credibility with an individual that has been playing the game for less than a year. As you can see, I've only signed in for 321 consecutive days. I started on October 11th of 2022, and I have reached what I feel is a wonderful place to be. I have attained High Champion RTA and Legend 5 in Arena, so I do feel like I have some credence with what I'm saying and the suggestions that I'll be making to you today. So, first things first, let's go ahead and show you the new players what exactly story summons are and where to actually find them. So from the home screen, you're going to click Side Story, and once you're here, on the far left-hand panel, there's going to be hopefully when you start 3 available missions, the one at the bottom will be the side story. So what side stories basically are is that it's a small little offshoot story for the specific character, and where they were in time in the story, you get to play as them, you get to go in and farm some pretty decent rewards. You know, you get some leaves, some gold, some silver transmit stones, and then in the exchange shop, you have a wide variety of catalysts from rare to epics that are specifically for this unit. Now, there's gonna come a time where you're gonna have new units that are going to be releasing. The best way to kind of pre-farm for those individuals is trying to find out what exact catalyst that they need and selecting a story summon that actually has those rare and or epic catalysts. Hopefully one that is also of the same element as them, so that way you can also knock down your rune summoning requirements. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with our list, shall we? Now then, chat, let's go ahead and take just a brief little intermission just to talk about my Twitch channel real fast. So, as you can see, it's going to be twitch.tv/Tsuchikage. From here, you see me play a wide variety of many different games on a wide variety of different days, and it's all very chaotic, very fun, very poggers. So, if you can just come on by and drop me a follow or Twitch Prime if you have it, I would greatly appreciate it. Alrighty, so now that we've gotten that essentially out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into the first part of our tier list, and we're going to give our love to newer players. So first things first, as you take a look at this tier list here for newer players, a lot of these units you may or may not get lucky with when it comes to your free summons, since newer players get a large influx of hero selector tickets and things of that nature. There should be various amount of YouTube videos out there right now from various different Epic 7 content creators that will basically illuminate you on what you should or should not get from those selectors. Now, this is when you're further into the game, let's say probably 3 to 6 weeks, and you're looking to say, I have this summon currency. There's not really any new characters that I know exactly what to do, but I have this story summon feature available to me, so I will leverage this to make it better for myself. So, righty. So, chat. First things first, we're gonna go over the tiers and then my reasonings for each individual unit quickly, because I don't want to bog you down with a unnecessarily long tier list. So first things first, we have the Eating Good first choice tier. If you're a new player and you did not obtain any of the units from any of these units in that first row, they should be your first story summon without a shadow of a doubt, because they will help you not only clear story but also get your toes wet when it comes to RTA. So we have the second solid choices, we have the niche choices, we have cleave prints, which are essentially cleave units or imprints for cleave. Essentially, for newer players, avoid any unit in this row outside of Vildred. Vildred's kind of okay for some early story farming, but essentially if you get any of these units in this row, lock them, put them in your waiting room, forget about them. Can't get, don't get, why would you get? These units are garbage. Either they're garbage or their usage is so niche and that they only get played once, maybe every 6 to 9 months. So avoid these like the plague. And then you have your your freemium units, or your free plus units as I like to call them. So let's go ahead and hit the first slick running. Oh my god, I just list like crazy. Let's go ahead and hit the first of the tier list running. Biggest priority in the event that you did not obtain this unit from any other selectors would be Ravi, Elena, Destina, Celine. Now, in regards to these three units, Celine is just, at the time of recording of this video, one of the best units in the meta for counteracting and punishing individuals that use non-attack skills in RTA. She is a PvP unit mostly, with small PvE usages. Destina, if you didn't get her from your selector summon number 1, or you didn't luck sack her, she's going to be very advantageous for you when it comes to lower tier RTA. She's a cleanser, she's a reviver, she can CR push a certain unit on your team, and if she has a certain EE, she can double that CR push, which is fantastic. Elena, pretty good PvE unit in regards to certain Labyrinth stages. You'll learn about Labyrinth in the event of you're following someone's guide. Depending on whose guide you're following, they're going to go over Labyrinth, as well as Nightmare Lab. Now, if you do need any help or tips and tricks when it comes to Nightmare Lab, when you get to that point, remember, you're a new player, enjoy the game, push as much content as you can, farm as much unrecorded history as you can, get your toes wet, learn the gearing system, learn the game, and then you can get to the late mid-game stage where Elena would be very advantageous. But if you decide, if you're one of those hardcore gamers and you want to dip your toes into RTA, Elena is a fantastic choice for countering Cleave in regards to these two monstrosities right here in the front, Ran and Payra. And now, just an all-around fantastic unit. This unit was buffed around the same time as Celine is Fire Ravi. Now, this unit does take very particular gear, but the wonderful thing about this is that with the introduction of Globlubu's event, you could probably gear a pretty decent speed HP Ravi until you get further down the line, and you can switch up your gear selection to counter and penetration. Then she is a fantastic unit because she does not require crit chance, so that lowers the gear requirements for her exponentially, but she does take very specific gear. Now, as I said earlier, if you did not pick any of these units up with your selectors, it's a good option for you to pick them up from story summons, or just get their imprints. If you already have these units, Celine works so much well with her imprint. Elena gets free effect resistance with her self-imprint. Ravi gets defense, so that even lowers the gear requirement even more for you. Now, let's go ahead and move down to our second section. So the second solid choice section, we have Blue Shoe. When I started the game, this unit was a terror. Back in 2023 to early 2024, there was this one unit in the game, everyone's going to recommend them to you as a pickup, named Knockwall. You slam a Blue Shoe 4-5 and they have to respect it, because the way that the game works is with the elements. If you are at an elemental disadvantage, there's a 50-50 chance for you to land anything, your buffs, your attacks. So Shu was a fantastic counter for this unit right here. Now, Iseria, depending on whose guide you follow, which Discord you get into, we're not going to get into the social political climate of the Epic 7 community and who's going against who. Iseria is a very good PvE unit, especially when she's tamed with her best friend, Tamarin. But she does have some very niche cases, if you want to take her into PvP with units like Dark Corvus, with units like Laya, but more than likely you're going to use her to assist you with a lot of your PvE content, from expeditions to Labyrinth, so she's a very wonderful unit to have. Rowana. Now, some people may say Rowanna's bad. Other individuals will swear that she's the second coming of sliced bread. I view her as a unit that is acceptable, and she does her job, and she does her job well. Rowana punishes anyone that counterattacks or dual attacks. Well, I say punish in regards to, if you counterattack her team, she heals a certain percentage based on her Molagola investment, and she CR pushes. So the enemy team can give you tempo, which makes her amazing, but she's also very useful in a lot of PvE stages, especially when you have certain individuals in Labyrinth that have counterattack in their name, have a counterattack buff, have an extra attack, dual attacks, anything in their kit that isn't just a singular attack, like a one and done AoE or single target. She's fantastic as a Soul Weaver for that. And she's very useful when you're doing Nightmare Raid, just for an investment in the future for Juleef Council. She's fantastic. All right, our good boy Swifty here. We're not going to go too in-depth on each individual characters. Haste is a fantastic early game unit when it comes to PvE content, for the simple fact that he has 2 skills that have a chance to supply a defense break. And when you defense break something in this game, 9 times out of 10, if your damage dealer is good enough, it goes pee poof. But with that usability, he also has a wonderful S2 that not only heals the entire team for a percentage of the damage, it also supplants a buff called Vampirism, which essentially, as long as that enemy has that debuff, any unit that hits them heals themselves. So that's wonderful. Blue Violet, he's a very solid choice for going against certain teams that are running a lot of blue units, a lot of Rand cleave, a lot of Payra cleave. Violet's just a fantastic answer. Essentially, if they have a bunch of ice units on their team, slam Violet and pray. You actually do get a very usable set of gear for Violet from pushing Abyss. I do believe it is the Abyss 70 lifesteal gear. It's like tier 88. I can actually show it to you right now in game, so you can get a better idea of what that gear looks like, so you can make an informed decision. So this gear right here, Bloodthirsty Great Store. As you can see, this Great Store is on my Wukong. And for free gear, 101 gear score, 16 speed, this could be you. And this gear set is absolutely fantastic for a unit like Violet. Crow, just Mitigation Knight. He's very useful for Guild Wars, for attacking in Guild Wars. Do not put this unit on your defense. He's good for low tier arena if you want to climb. You just want a little meat shield that could just soak up damage from your units taking hits and then dish it out with his S3 that does percentage damage on the amount of HP that he's lost. That would be beautiful. She's a wonderful anti-cleave option. There was a time where she was very highly valued. Now, not so much. She's really fallen for grace when it comes to high tier PvP content, but she's still a fantastic Guild Wars unit. You can put her on defense. She has been solved, but if you just need a unit to take up a slot that's actually pretty decent, Cindy's a good choice. I am so hesitant with including Arya in this specific tier list because at high-end gameplay, she requires very good, very specific gear. But in the beginning of the game, if you can get a pretty okay lifesteal set with a crit set with high effect resistance, or forego effective resistance altogether and only run her into teams that don't have strips or a lot of debuffs, she's fantastic for dealing with a lot of pesky fire units like Janua, Hua Young, essentially Bihu, but we're not going to really talk about him that much. Yufine, for newer players, wonderful single target DPS with a defense break in her S1, so she can be very useful in the event that you need to or want to farm Banshee. If you want to be a turn 2 gamer, she's always a wonderful unit to have in your toolbox. Now we have Alencia. So Alencia is one of the most recent units that's actually got a upcoming buff to her kit, whereas essentially it's going to change how the unit is going to work. So I have her at the end of this list as a perspective solid choice because she would be very useful for dealing with some problem units in the meta, with your Dragon Bride Senyas, your Empyrean Ilinavs, your annoying Blood Moon Haste, and with the simple fact that she no longer gives herself the effectiveness buff, she's actually more beneficial going into Haste for the simple fact that she doesn't have something that he can strip from her. Bellona, again, for newer players, she's a fantastic unit for Banshee, same as Alencia. All three of these units have defense breaks. Bologna is just AoE, which can help you push those stages, especially when she's paired with Vivian. If you, depending on where you are in your current Epic 7 journey, if you have progressed to the Banshee hunt challenges, you're going to realize that there's going to be a couple stages where AoEs are king, and Bologna just ties it up all together. And if you're one of those very aggressive gamers, Bologna is integral for the early Rift pushing session before you can solo it with Wukong. And finally, in the second choice or solid choice tier, we have Abigail. Abigail is another one of the September 12th units that are going to get buffed, where she is going to have more damage added to her kit, as well as the ability to dispel debuffs from the backline unit, on top of giving them immortality and vampirism when they take lethal damage. So she's going to be very good there, but it's going to require some testing. So that's why I have her at the end of this list, because she's one of those units that's up in the air. Alencia is more projected to be a well-rounded unit. So that is our second choice. So now we're going to go into the niche tier. Now, with these units being niche, I'm just going to quickly gloss over them, and then we're going to keep it moving. Lilius, used to counter Lua. Elvira, used to counter Fighting Spirit. Fumir, used for a very specific Fumir type debuff cleave team. Zahak, good for countering evasion units, but he needs very damn good gear. Like, the slowest you can make this man is 260, and that probably won't cut it in higher tier RTA. Bihu, another niche unit. He doesn't crit, but he applies burns and detonates burns on his team, but he is very susceptible to units like Celine because it's S3, which applies unbuffable, which basically means no buff for you. If he uses that skill, Celine can, depending on the exclusive equipment that she's on, clap back and put him in a coffin, so we don't really talk about unit. Hua Young, this was before my time, but around the time that I actually initially wanted to play Epic 7, I was hearing stories from hither and thither about Hua Young meta, and oh my god, this unit is a problem, and Smilegate, please nerf this unit is an issue. Also heard this unit is a godsend for newer players. Now, not so much. She has some niche uses when it comes to killing Soul Weavers and units that don't have a lot of bulk, but can take a couple hits. She's basically a killer for those type of units. So if you draft like a Rowan in PvE and they draft Hua Young, your Rowan is going bye-bye. Tywin, just a blue knight, honestly. If you get him and you, for whatever reason, didn't get Brig from your 5-star selector, because who's gonna do those damn missions as a new player? Tywin's an alternative. He has a defense break in his S3, but that's about it. He has very little use cases anywhere else. And actually, subtle plug here, YouTube. Just gonna do this very fast. I have a YouTube video out right now. It is covering over 3 units in my Save a Homie series, where I am trying to do what the Balance team is not doing, which is balance patch units and give them my own take on how they could be brought back into the meta. So if you would like to view that, go ahead and check the link down in the description. That will lead you to that video. Leave a like, leave a comment. I greatly appreciate that. So let's get back into it. Now, so after Tywin, we have another tank that essentially, outside of one specific form of content, lost her spot to King Brig, and that is Fire Cecilia. As of the recording of this video, this unit does nothing, will do nothing, and she only has use cases as a frontline tank for Hell Raid, just Labyrinth in general, for fighting the wonderful Secretary Vera, and for Fire Expo. So essentially you're going against the Boomslag Lich. She's a wonderful unit because she has 2 skills that AoE and a defense break in her kit. Sharu, there was once a time. I talk like I'm an old man. When I joined the game last year, and probably a year before that, where this unit was the bane of everyone's existence that wanted to play Mediator Carrera, because You put buffs on your team, I have a percentage chance to go zoom zoom. I take first turn, I strip your buffs, I give you Venom, which inflicts HP ceiling reduction, I guess you would call it, injury damage, and I slow you down with a speed debuff. Now, not so much. You can pair her with certain ML units like DDR to get the instantaneous pop, but sometimes with Sharoon, you want it to sit there, you want it to hold, you want it to sizzle in their spirit. Charles, very niche, can be used in certain PvE content like, well, the original Hall of Trials. He had some use cases, but right now, he's probably not that good, so I'd actually put him at the end of the list. Lulika, a lot of people will tell you that this unit is bad. A lot of people will tell you that this unit has no use. I'm gonna tell you right here now, you heard it here first, chat. They're not wrong. But if you, for whatever reason, want to farm Katie's, this is the unit for that. But outside of that, Lulika is the same as Charles. You're primarily gonna use her for one-off occasions in Hall of Trials if they bring the old Hall of Trials back. So that's about it. Taeyu. Now, this is for one of those gamers out there that got lucky and got C-Poly. If you got C-Poly, please don't pick this unit. This unit is so fucking bad. I just put it up here because I wanted to be a meme. The Great Mortelix, the great one, the best. This unit is also a fucking don't even waste it. Don't even bother. This unit needs a buff. This unit also needs a buff. I've already talked with my chat, and we're going to do Morton Taeyu as our next units. So that should give you some fair idea of what they do. Ervalin, very niche unit when it comes to, don't also use this fucking unit. Please don't, I'm joking. I'm joking. Ervalin, you can use him as an option. I have to say this. I'm contractually obligated to say this. You can use him as an option for when you're later in the game for one-shotting Banshee. That's about it. So, don't get. Now, Cleave Prince. As I told you all earlier, do not waste your story summon on any of these units. None of them. As a new player, if you get any of these units, put them in your waiting room and never touch them again. If you want to push story and there's blue units there, Vildred is all right. You may, depending on how your account, speed is, you may actually be able to cleave. As a new player, these units should not exist for you at all. Now, can't get, don't get. Why would you get? Yuha, trash, too much injury in the meta. Brigitte, kit is all over the fucking place and has no synergy. Kinda trash. Also gets punished by Celine. Kane, the man is homeless, jobless, maidenless. R.I.P. Claudia. And he just does absolutely nothing. He has no use in the game in PvE or PvP. No matter what anyone tells you, there's certain individuals that will live and die by the Kane. I tell them get off the plantation. Next, we have our wonderful, beautiful queen, Lilibet. Don't get this unit. Don't get this unit. From speaking to other content creators and just listening to them, she was basically used to counter RB when RB was a problem, and then RB no longer became a problem, and now she's just bad. Basar, too slow, kit's kind of trash, not good. But, hey, for all you viewers out there, the next unit that you're going to see on my next video, Mort Taeyu Basar. Hope you tune in for that. Chloe, she's an okay option if you need a damage dealer for a Wyvern hunt, but you get Sigurd for free. Why would you even bother with Chloe? Like, let's be very honest with one another. No one's gonna summon for Chloe for this situation. And then we have Charlotte. She was good for countering units like Landy or units that have anti-crit in their kit, since she guaranteed crits on her hit, but the unit is too slow. She takes too high gear requirements since she has to be built on lifesteal to be very effective, and there's no point in using this unit at all. Melissa, don't even bother. You already know about the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse. And then there's Valen. Now, last and not least, chat, we have our freemium units. We have the god tank of PvE. And if you talk to Hinojin, the best goddamn tank for PvP for damage, Bree. We have free Sirmia that you get, free Vivian, and free Sigrid. These are all free units from the hunt challenges. Don't waste your story summon on these. Don't even bother doing your story summon to get imprints for these units. These units will pop up. So you know what? Let me educate you, chat. Let me educate you really fast. All right. So Vivian's a mage, right? Where do you get Vivian? Never summon for Vivian story summon. Keep this in mind. I just want you to see what I'm saying right now. It's never summon for Sirmia. Wait, is she not a story summon unit? Sigrid's not even a story summon unit. She shouldn't be on this list. Oh well. Unlucky rubber ducky. I included her anyway. Now, with those 3 units that I just mentioned, right, chat? I want you to just see their imprints. I just want you to see their imprints on my account without even story summoning. And I've only been playing for, well, it was 10 months last month. So let's go ahead and look at our girl Sirmia. She's at 0 imprint. You want to know why she's at 0 imprint? Because her ML version is literally double S. I have gotten 4 Sirmias in my time period. You don't need to imprint that unit. Let's move along to our wonderful girl Vivian. Also, I have received 4 versions of this unit without story summoning her. You will be fine, boys. I promise you, you will be A-okay. And the queen of PV, oh yeah, this unit. Don't even bother getting this unit. You get her for free. You're gonna use Bahamut Okana for Fire Expedition. You're gonna use her for regular Secretary Vera, and then she's going to sit in your box and do absolutely nothing until Fire Expo comes back. And maybe niche cases, but that's about it. Alright boys, that is the extent of this YouTube video. Hope you all enjoyed yourself. That was a mouthful. Hopefully I gave you a secondary insight on what exactly you would want to do in regards to the units that you are selecting as someone who has started the game as a fresh player and progressed to high level champion. Hopefully my input is very instructive for you. And if you have any questions, concerns, disagreements, go ahead and drop them down in the comment section below. Also check the description of this video for a link to my Twitch, as well as the 2 videos that you're going to see on the right of me right here. Those videos are absolutely amazing. They are Pog. I am a new content creator, so I would greatly appreciate it. Signing out, YouTube.